One of the most dangerous enemies you will ever face is not another person. It is your own ego. Your ego wants recognition. It wants to be admired, respected, praised, and proven right. But the moment you become addicted to these things, you become easier to control. Robert Greene's ideas on power, human psychology, and strategy reveal a simple truth. The person who desperately needs validation gives other people power over them. Think about how often people react when they feel ignored, disrespected, underestimated, or rejected. They explain themselves, they argue, they try to prove their worth. They reveal their emotions, and in doing so, they expose exactly what controls them. The first step toward becoming mentally powerful is learning to separate your identity from your emotions. You do not need to respond to every insult. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding. You do not need to prove that you are intelligent. You do not need everyone to understand your intentions. Sometimes the strongest move is silence. When you stop needing approval, you become much harder to manipulate. Your ego says, show them who you are. Wisdom says, let your actions speak. The less you feel the need to prove yourself, the more freedom you gain. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop chasing people who do not value you. You stop explaining your decisions to people who have already made up their minds. And slowly something changes. You become calmer, you become more focused, you become more difficult to control. This is where real personal power begins. Not when everyone respects you, not when everyone praises you, but when you no longer need them to. Control does not always come from force. In many situations, control comes from understanding human behavior. People reveal themselves through their emotions, habits, insecurities, and reactions. If you understand what someone desperately wants, what they fear losing, and what makes them feel important, you begin to understand the psychological forces influencing their decisions. But there is an important distinction. The goal is not to manipulate everyone around you. The real goal is to become difficult to manipulate yourself. Never let another person's anger dictate your behavior. Never let someone's silence destroy your peace. Never let praise inflate your ego. Never let criticism determine your self-worth. Emotional control is a form of power because it gives you the ability to choose your response instead of automatically reacting. The person who can remain calm while everyone else becomes emotional often has the greatest strategic advantage. When everyone expects a reaction, give them patience. When everyone expects an explanation, give them clarity. When someone tries to provoke you, do not reward the behavior with your attention. Control yourself first. Everything else comes second. The moment you stop giving people emotional reactions on demand, you take back a powerful part of your life. You decide when to speak. You decide when to walk away. You decide what deserves your attention. And that level of self-control makes you far more difficult to manipulate. Real power is not making everyone obey you. Real power is refusing to become a puppet of someone else's emotions. One of the biggest mistakes people make is revealing too much too quickly. They explain their plans, they announce their ambitions, they tell everyone what they're going to accomplish. Then they wonder why they lose motivation or encounter unnecessary resistance. You do not have to announce every move. There is power in privacy. Work quietly, build quietly, improve quietly. Let people see the results when the results are ready. This does not mean becoming secretive or dishonest. It means understanding that your plans are valuable before they become achievements. The more you talk about what you will do, the more satisfaction your mind can receive from simply talking about it. Instead, turn ambition into action. Do not tell everyone you are becoming disciplined. Become disciplined. Do not tell everyone you are building a business. Build the business. Do not tell everyone you are changing your life. Change your life. Let people underestimate you. Let them think you are doing nothing. Let them wonder what you are working on. You do not need to correct their assumptions. Your responsibility is not to convince people of your potential. Your responsibility is to develop it. There is something powerful about becoming better without announcing it. While others are talking, you are learning. While others are seeking attention, you are developing skills. While others are explaining their future, you are quietly creating yours. Eventually, results become impossible to ignore. And when that happens, you will not need to explain yourself. Your results will speak for you. That is the power of moving in silence. Being liked is not the same as being valuable. Many people spend their lives trying to become popular, accepted, and admired. But if you want to become truly irreplaceable, your focus should be different. Develop skills that are difficult to replace. Learn how to solve problems. Learn how to communicate clearly. Learn how to think strategically. Learn how to remain calm under pressure. Learn how to understand people. Learn how to create results. The world does not reward potential forever. Eventually, it rewards usefulness. Ask yourself, what can I do that most people cannot? What problem can I solve better than others? What knowledge have I developed through years of practice? What skill makes people seek me out? These questions force you to look beyond appearance and focus on real value. Do not chase the appearance of importance. Build genuine competence. Become the person who can be trusted when something difficult needs to be done. Become the person who brings solutions instead of problems. Become the person who remains reliable when everyone else becomes emotional. That is how you become difficult to replace. And remember, being irreplaceable does not mean making people dependent on you. It means becoming so capable, disciplined, and useful that your contribution naturally stands out. When your value comes from your ability rather than your ego, you become much more secure. You no longer need to demand respect. You no longer need to constantly remind people of your importance. Your results create your reputation. Your consistency creates trust. And your competence creates influence. So stop asking, how can I make people notice me? Start asking, how can I become better? Because when you become genuinely valuable, attention becomes a consequence rather than a goal. Your ego wants to win every argument. It wants the last word. It wants to prove that you are smarter, stronger, and right. But winning an argument does not necessarily mean winning the situation. Sometimes proving someone wrong gives you nothing except another enemy. Strategic people understand that not every battle deserves their energy. Before you respond, pause and ask yourself a simple question. Will this matter tomorrow? Will this improve my position? Will this solve the problem? Or am I simply reacting because my ego feels threatened? That question can save you from countless unnecessary conflicts. You do not need to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not need to respond to every insult. You do not need to defend yourself against every accusation. Some people provoke you because they want your attention. Some criticize you because they want an emotional reaction. Some misunderstand you because they have already decided what they want to believe. If you react emotionally, you give them exactly what they wanted. But if you remain calm, you change the entire dynamic. Silence can sometimes communicate more than an explanation ever could. Walking away can sometimes be more powerful than winning an argument. And refusing to react can sometimes protect your reputation, your peace, and your future. This does not mean allowing people to disrespect you. It means choosing your battles intelligently. There are moments when you should speak. There are moments when you should defend yourself. And there are moments when the smartest response is no response at all. Your attention is valuable. Your energy is limited. Do not waste either trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. The goal is not to win every battle. The goal is to win the war for your own peace, progress, and self-control. If you want to protect yourself from manipulation, you must first understand your own weaknesses. Most people spend their time studying other people's behavior while ignoring their own emotional triggers. But your weaknesses can reveal exactly where someone else can gain influence over you. Ask yourself honestly, what makes you angry? What makes you desperate for approval? What makes you jealous? What makes you afraid of rejection? What makes you feel insecure? What kind of criticism immediately changes your mood? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are important, because the things that trigger you reveal where you still lack control. If someone can insult you and instantly make you lose your temper, they have discovered a button they can press. If someone can ignore you and make you desperate for their attention, they have discovered another button. If praise can make you arrogant and criticism can destroy your confidence, then both praise and criticism have too much control over you. Self-awareness is the beginning of emotional freedom. The more you understand yourself, the less predictable your reactions become. And the less predictable your reactions become, the harder it is for someone else to manipulate you. Never be ashamed of having emotions. The problem is not feeling emotions. The problem is allowing emotions to make decisions for you. Feel the anger, then wait. Feel the insecurity, then observe it. Feel the desire for approval, then ask yourself why you need it. You are not required to obey every emotion that appears inside your mind. You can experience an emotion without acting on it. That is emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is one of the foundations of personal power. When you understand your own weaknesses, you stop being controlled by them. You become more patient, more aware, more deliberate. And eventually the things that once controlled you begin to lose their power. The ultimate lesson is simple. Stop trying to look powerful. Become powerful. Stop chasing validation. Build self-respect. Stop explaining everything. Let your actions create the evidence. Stop reacting emotionally. Develop strategic patience. Stop trying to be needed by everyone. Become valuable through genuine skill. And most importantly, stop allowing your ego to control your decisions. The strongest person in the room is not always the loudest. Sometimes it is the person who listens, the person who watches, the person who understands, the person who remains calm, the person who knows when to speak and when to remain silent. Your greatest advantage is not controlling other people. It is controlling yourself. Because once you master your emotions, protect your attention, develop valuable skills, and stop needing external validation, you become difficult to manipulate and difficult to replace. That is the real art of power, not domination, not aggression, not pretending to be important, but becoming so disciplined, capable, emotionally controlled, and strategically intelligent that your presence creates undeniable value. Remember this, your ego wants attention, your purpose wants progress. Your ego wants to prove, your purpose wants to build, your ego wants applause, your purpose wants results. Choose your purpose. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose patience over reaction. Choose growth over validation. Choose substance over appearance. Because when you stop living to impress people and start living according to strategy, discipline, and self-mastery, you stop chasing power and begin developing the kind of power that does not need to announce itself. Become the person who does not need to tell everyone how strong they are. Become the person whose actions make it obvious. Stay calm, stay focused, keep learning, keep building, and let your results speak when your words no longer need to. There is one final principle you must understand if you truly want to master the art of power. Do not become addicted to power itself. Power is not about controlling everyone around you. It is about becoming the master of your own mind, your own time, your own emotions, and your own direction. The moment you stop seeking permission to become who you want to be, your life begins to change. You stop waiting for people to believe in you. You start believing through action. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. You start creating opportunities. You stop asking whether people will support your journey. You start walking the journey anyway. This is where confidence becomes different. Real confidence is not loud. It does not constantly announce itself. It does not need to dominate every conversation. Real confidence is quiet because it comes from knowing that you can handle whatever happens next. You can handle rejection, you can handle criticism, you can handle failure, you can handle being misunderstood, and you can handle success without allowing success to destroy your humility. That is the balance you should seek. Become ambitious without becoming arrogant. Become powerful without becoming cruel. Become strategic without becoming manipulative. Become confident without becoming desperate for attention, and become independent without becoming emotionally cold. Your goal is not to become someone nobody can hurt. Your goal is to become someone who can recover when life hurts, because life will test you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Opportunities will disappear. Some people will leave. Some will underestimate you. And sometimes, despite your best efforts, things will not go according to plan. But you still have a choice. You can react emotionally, or you can respond strategically. You can allow disappointment to define you, or you can use it to develop yourself. You can remain trapped in the past, or you can turn your attention toward what comes next. That is the difference between being controlled by life and learning to control your response to life. So remember the principles. Master your ego, control your emotions, protect your attention. Keep some things private. Develop valuable skills, choose your battles, study your weaknesses, and never stop becoming better. You do not need to become perfect. You only need to become more disciplined, more aware, and more capable than you were yesterday. Because the ultimate form of power is self-mastery. When you master yourself, you no longer need to control everyone else. When you know your value, you no longer beg for validation. When you have a purpose, you no longer need constant attention. And when your actions consistently match your words, you no longer need to convince anyone of who you are. Let people talk, let them judge. Let them underestimate you. Your job is not to control their opinions. Your job is to control your direction. Keep your eyes on the long game. Build something meaningful. Become genuinely valuable. And when the world finally notices what you have built, remember that the greatest victory was never making other people respect you. The greatest victory was becoming someone you respect when you are alone. That is the art of power. That is the art of control. And that is how you become truly difficult to replace.